posted. Scott?
Yes.
Okay, call the meeting to order
Yes,
for Tuesday, May 14th, for Wheaton Town Board. Rise and say the pledge of allegiance, a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call.
Laura Hayden.
Here.
Wayne Miller.
Here.
Al Zdrowski.
Here.
Ken Books.
Here.
Mark Laskowski.
Here.
Bud Beckwith.
Here.
Approval of the agenda. Need a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the Tuesday, May 14th, 2019 Town of Wheaton Board meeting agenda.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Clerk's report, minutes, April 9th, 30th.
Yep.
Register presentations, we got the register there. Any comments on the minutes from either day?
I make a motion, we accept them as written.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to accept the meeting minutes as written. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Shut this thing off. Okay, public comments. None?
I got a couple things, but I don't know if this is the appropriate.
Well, what do you have?
They have to get up there. They can't hear unless they get to the podium.
I walked that wood.
Mark, can you stand at the podium, because otherwise it's hard for the mic to pick it up that far back? Huh?
It's not on?
It records.
Oh. Two things, really. The first one is I walked that woods in the park there, just about every day. It's really a nice walk. But I noticed a lot of blocks of wood laying along the trail. They're only like 16 to 2 feet long. And I would pick them up and just burn them for campfire wood. If it's not a big issue, if it's an issue, fine, I won't mention it again, but I'd go back to my lawn tractor and trailer and pick them up if it's not a big deal. There's probably 20, 25 of them. So they're kind of half hanging on the road. So that's my first comment.
Okay.
If it's a big deal, don't worry about it. But I would clean them up if you wanted to get rid of them.
Yeah, we can put that on the Parks Commission.
Somebody can just let me know if it's okay.
Yeah, and that's next week, right, Ken? That's next Tuesday
Yeah,
night.
I know
So.
there's a tree over the road too. I heard a saw down there. I think they might have cleaned that up today.
Yeah, that was done today.
Yeah, I thought so. I heard some chainsaw going on back there. But if I could get them, I would not do any cutting. I just go back with my lawn trailer and lawn tractor and throw them on and bring them home and split them. I wouldn't even have to cut anything. So, the parks can let me know if that's okay. If not that big of a deal. The other thing was that fence along the road there. It's really gotten bad with the wind, and all the poles are rotted all the way down.
Between your place and the
Between my
park?
place and the fire department, yeah.
Okay.
And so I fixed about a third of it already. The wire, even though it looks like crap, it's still structurally sound. So I'm just putting new posts in, replacing the same holes as the other one. And if the town would wanna, buy half the posts that are left, I would go ahead and do the labor and put them all in. It's not that big of a deal. I'm retired now. It's easy for me to do. I'm just buying them 3-inch round posts at Menards. They're like $5 a piece or something, so it's not a big cost. But I would do that whole, for the fire department, the east side, and all the way down that corner.
Yeah.
So you let me know if that's okay too. If not,
Yep.
to be honest with you, I'd probably fix it anyway, because the fence was just laying there. But, if the fire
Needs to get
department wants to
fixed.
share the cost of the posts, I'd be more than happy to put them up, so.
Okay, yeah, we'll take it, yeah, that's another one for, with park, see what they're, if you have something else you wanted to do at this point or whatever.
Well, you can see what I've done there already. I did about a.
Right.
It looks real nice.
Yeah, it was a lot better than it did. They were all broken and laying there, and so they'd have to move it to even mow. I mean, even though they only mow once or twice a year.
It looks like if it goes in another year or so, the rest of it's
Oh, yeah,
you're gonna
I got a
get,
couple of
next 2
poles
years,
holding
it's
a
gonna be
couple
down.
up, so, and like I said, it's not that big of a cost anyway, and it looks a hell of a lot better than, what it does now.
Good,
So,
yeah, we'll get that addressed, both of the
just,
things addressed.
maybe
quick
you
as we
let me
can.
know or something. When's your next meeting on there?
Tuesday.
Maybe
It's
I'll
coming
stop in
Tuesday.
if I'm not doing nothing.
Yeah.
I don't do much of those. But anyway, maybe I'll stop in and we can talk.
Okay.
That's it.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Anything else? Yeah,
Since Laura's the new treasurer, as far as the Wheaton monies go, it was really pretty easy before, cause I would just take the money to the house, So anyway, I could have dropped money off the other day, but we're talking to Scott there, and he said, bring it tonight, But I did remember that big box I dropped off at your house here? Well, nobody was home, so I don't wanna leave money anywhere by your house, of course, so I don't know, if I could bring the money here and get it in your office, and have a place where it would be that you would know, you could pick it up, it would always be here then,
how do you wanna do that, Scott? I mean,
I suggest that we get Roger a key so he can get in here to the town hall and into the clerk's office so he can drop off money. And then it'll go in Laura's basket and she can stop by and pick it up once a week or, cause you drop off on what day? Did you drop it off right after Saturday?
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
If it's Rich's week, then when would you drop it off? I don't know how you coordinate
Well,
with
Rich
Rich.
generally gives me his 2 days he works on the first Wednesday I work after him, say.
Okay, he comes down there when you're working that day.
Right.
That's what I used to do.
Yeah.
But now it's a little different and.
So continue with that, I would say,
Yeah,
and then,
that worked fine.
yeah, if you keep doing that, Rick, the same way you handle it.
and then
The
I'll
Roger,
get,
he
I'll
can
get
do
So
2
give
keys
Roger
made for you.
keys.
Okay,
Yes.
and then I thought,
Yeah.
well, even in her
I'm
basket,
fine with that.
I don't know if that, because you and I both know where there is a key,
Yeah.
and we can tell her, and it could be in there,
We can do that, yeah.
so.
Yeah, keep that a little more secure, that's a good.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, we can secure that in the office.
Okay.
So,
And, we were all talking about the time cards too.
Then-
I'm so close to you, I could.
well, we can still coordinate that with Roger, so when he drops off money, he can drop off time cards at the same time.
Okay.
So, Rich, just, whatever you've been doing, keep doing that.
Alright,
Just don't put your time cards in that envelope.
right.
The bank won't pay you.
Scott's gotta get your time cards now.
Anything else? Public comments, so, nothing? We're gonna move on then. So our first order of business is town insurance evaluation report from Stacy Miller, Rural Mutual Insurance.
Hey folks,
Hi there.
thanks for being patient with me. We tried to come out in February and that meeting had to get canceled for weather.
Yeah.
And in March and April I
Thank you,
was
Stacy.
gone. And I miscounted here, I only got 5 of these.
No,
so
it's Stacy. Go ahead, they're new, they can, you know.
There's one more. So you have had a fair bit of turnover on the board here since I was last, I was
can share.
just last January of 18, by the way. So anyway, I will try to go through this fairly thoroughly without putting everyone to sleep, which could be a challenge. Just a real quick, for those of you that don't know me, I've been with Roll since 1988 and had the town's insurance since almost that time, I think. You guys have been with us for a long, long time, and we appreciate your longevity and your loyalty, and just appreciate your business. That's great. It's always good to come out and chat with you and see what your concerns are and kind of go through things and answer your questions. This will be very informal, so if you have questions, feel free to speak up and let me know. I'll do my best to answer. If I can't answer it, I'll find out the answer for you. Is that fair?
Sounds good.
See if this will sit here. So if you'll take out this business owner's policy declaration, this is actually part of the policy that tells what we have for coverage in terms of that stays, in terms of dollars of coverage. I have to grab one more thing real quick. If you turn to page 2, you'll see we have location 1 listed with a total building coverage of 977,600. And we write this policy for the buildings and the contents on what's called a blanket basis. So all the buildings on any one location, which there's only 2 here, but the park we have a lot more, of course, are all blanketed together so that you have that total amount available for any one loss. But if you want the breakdown, I've got it here. We've got 884,000 on this building, with 75, just north of 75,000 on the contents, and then the salt shed is at 93.6. So hopefully that adds up to 977,600. As you can see, the deductible is $1,000. The buildings and the contents, for any losses, they're settled at replacement cost. So we don't say, well, you know, the roof was X years old, we have to depreciate it, that sort of thing. It's replacement cost, so it's what it costs new minus your deductible. Okay. It's comprehensive form coverage, which means it's the best. You're covered for the broadest number of things possible, if that makes sense. Excuse me.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Are we covered as far as snow load goes? If some, there's quite a few buildings in Wheaton that collapsed this year.
Yes.
That would be covered, because some guys weren't
Yeah.
with their policies.
On our, yeah, farm policies, it can be different, but for here, yes, you've got that coverage. So if the building collapses from snow, that is definitely covered.
Yeah.
Yeah, good question. Moving down the page a little bit, you can see you've got a little bit of money in securities coverage, 5,000 on premises and 2,000 off premises. And then we've got a little bit of what's called ordinance or law coverage, which will kick in if we're in a situation here where we have to move, say we have partial damage to the building and we can't rebuild it without moving it back from the road further, so you probably have to go on the other end or something. There's a little bit of coverage for that and for any increased cost due to meeting all the modern codes. There's not a lot. You can see 20,000 of coverage. I don't know if that's, who knows if that's sufficient or not, you know.
The money in securities, what is that for?
That's for like theft of money
That was here.
on the, yeah, on the premises, or there's the 2,000, which would follow who's ever bringing it to the bank if you get
Okay.
robbed.
Because that's one of the things we're probably going to do is, we're going to, instead of the treasurer having the taxes to their house, it's going to come to here. Yeah, so I don't know if that's still, now what we're going to have to look at what kind of construction, but we may want to put in I mean, I don't know if we need to put in a night depository, you know, an actual, you know, something that's fireproof and that somebody can get from the outside, but then it's a safe on the inside or whatever, if that's necessary to continue coverage, or, you know, I mean, we don't wanna end up having to pay a whole lot of money for coverage for that either,
Right.
as little as we can, but we're gonna have to do we're kinda gonna need to do something for the treasurer's office, so.
Yeah, from our standpoint, whatever you do, we really don't have any underwriting guidelines in place at this point
Okay.
on that.
Okay, that's why,
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
We do have, and I'll jump off on a tangent for a second, every fall, or probably October, I guess, so that's fall, we ask all the towns about a tax collector bond, and most towns, including you guys, take out the tax collector bond. That's a little different than the money and securities here. That's for if whoever's collecting the taxes decides they want to run to Jamaica or something with the money. That's what that's for. And we also have, or haven't had in the past, I didn't check it before tonight, but position bond, because that's required by Wisconsin statutes also. The ironic thing is they don't specify an amount, so typically we got 5,000 or 10,000 of coverage for those positions that are required to be bonded. And if you ask me which positions, I'd have to look it up, because I don't remember off the top of my head. but
I'm sure it's a clerk and
For sure the clerk
the
and,
treasurer. I think.
yeah, and seems like one other one, but, yeah. So anyway, that's a little off on a tangent, but, so let's move along to the park. You guys have such a nice park there. Every year it seems like there's something added. There's more playground equipment now there. I just stopped there tonight on my way to refresh my memory on what it looks like and stuff. And it's really nice. But on the buildings over there then, we've got a little over 1.2 million. We got a little bit of contents. So I guess that's probably mostly for stuff you have in the fire station. And the breakdown on the buildings over there, the fire station is at 910, so that's by far the bulk of the coverage. The pavilion, which would be the south one, is 16,640. The food shelter that's the only one that's kind of low. The south food shelter is 20,800. The concession stand, so that'd be the north. That building was built about 2011, I think. That's at 158,302. And then the new pavilion alongside that is at 78, and then the little concession stand with the metal roof on it is at 26. So that's the breakdown there. Again, we have that full amount of 1.2 million for any one loss. So, any questions so far? Then, application 3 will be on page 4. Yeah. You skip over to page 4. Which is the recycling center. We've got 2 buildings there. We're calling the trash compactor a building at 11,006, and the recycling shed at 31,200. We've done a replacement cost estimate on all the buildings. We do that routinely before these reviews, using a program called ETA Value, which I think by and large is pretty accurate. Everything was right up to snuff according to that, except for that south concession stand at the park. I realize that's an older building, but to replace it, they wouldn't do it for $21,000.
Right, yeah.
We've been pretty good about, at our meetings, about looking at the building values, and I think we did make quite a few adjustments probably 2 years ago or 3. So that was the only one I saw that you might want to think about doing something with. So,
Well, that one is probably going to get demolished here in a few more years and a new facility put in there.
Okay.
Actually is what the plan is. Now, it might be 5 more years or I don't know, but we're not really intending on keeping that. There's some issues with the backside of that building and things that we're going to probably be doing something else with it, so. That's kind of in the process, a little
Correct.
ways into it right now, but we've got a little work to do yet, so.
okay. Then if you go down to the middle of page 4 there, or 6, I'm sorry. We've got the business owner's advantage plus, and that's a package endorsement that includes about 15 different things. For example, there's 10,000 of sewer backup coverage included in that. There's additional fire department service charge coverage included. I can get you the breakdown if you're interested, but I think you get the picture. It covers, it either enhances or adds a bunch of different coverages. Smaller coverages, accounts receivable, things like that. Equipment breakdown is an important coverage. That would be for any of your mechanical systems in buildings. So it would be the heating system, air conditioning, compressor in the shop, things like that. So should any of that stuff suffer a premature failure of any sort, that would be covered under equipment breakdown, subject to your $1,000 deductible. But give you a quick example. This is on a homeowner, so it's a little different, but it works all the same. We had a water heater that it was electric, and the top heating element shorted out, and it was that was covered under equipment breakdown. Turned out to be a 30-some-year-old water heater, but the age wasn't a factor. It was the fact that that was an equipment breakdown claim. So we've had a couple of residential air conditioners replaced under that coverage in the last 3-4 years. So that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of what that coverage is, hopefully. Then we got what's called specified outdoor property at $400,000. That's kind of our catch-all for everything that isn't under a building or personal property, or later we'll get to the inland marine coverage. So, for example, it's all the playground equipment over there, the park. It's the traffic signal on over by 29 Pines that we've fixed about a dozen times over the years. Not lately, though.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. So it's all that kind of stuff. We've got a pretty comprehensive list, which is how we came up with that value, but it wouldn't hurt to update that at some point too. Then we start into, then we got the employee and volunteer worker. That covers primarily the board. If you're going to or from any sort of town business and you get in an accident or hit a deer or something like that, we will pay the lesser of your deductible, or $2,500 for that damage. So say you hit a deer, it's $3,000. We'll pay, if you turn it into yours and you have $500 deductible, we'll pay that other $500 back. Otherwise, if you don't have comprehensive on the vehicle, we'll pay the full $2,500 in that example. Then we get into the trucks next. I think we just took one off, I know we just took one off recently. But with those, we've got full coverage on glass, so there's zero deductible for glass on the trucks. And we also have rental coverage. So if you need to rent, usually it's a plow truck, but whatever the case. If yours is out of commission due to a covered loss, now we're not gonna pay rental if it's a mechanical breakdown. But if it rolls in the ditch or gets crunched in an accident, then we can pay that rental up to $10,000. There's no waiting period on that, it starts right away, so as soon as you can find another truck, we can start paying that. I think we had, if I'm not mistaken, 2 or 3 of those claims this year. Not that it was a hard year for plowing snow or anything, but it definitely was.
I don't see the grader listed on there.
If you flip over to page 7, that should be where the grader is.
Oh, okay.
It's 10-7.
So we divided into the licensed vehicles, which we just looked at, and then all the unlicensed equipment. So the grader actually is the second item.
Yeah.
Yep. This is one of those things that, well, both the truck values and these values should be looked at from time to time to make sure that they're still accurate. They're never gonna pay you more than what it's listed for, but they could pay less. So if something's depreciated a lot, you know, we might as well lower the value so you're not paying a premium on something that you'll never collect on, right? I'll bring to your attention at towards the bottom of the page, it says values not to exceed 2,000 on any one item. That's recently been changed by the company to 5,000. So that's a nice change. So if we've got this blanket coverage, which is anything that isn't listed, so that's kind of our catch-all for the tools and stuff that go out and about. And again, that limit per item has been raised from 2,000 to 5,000. So that's a nice change. Then if you go to page 8, we start into the liability portion of the policy. The liability is $5 million with an aggregate of $10 million. What that means is the most that we'll ever pay in any combination of claims in any policy year is $10 million. With $5 million per claim cap. That would be a really, really bad year, but nevertheless. If we want to go more than that, frankly, most of our towns don't, but we can add umbrella coverage over the top of that if you ever think that you need more. Perhaps you're familiar with, there is certain things that have caps on them for municipalities. So that helps in a lot of cases, but you can't always depend on that because maybe it's not a situation where the caps apply. So $5 million is a good level of liability. Then there's 10,000 medical, so if someone, say, slips on the ice and twists their ankle or something, we'll pay up to 10,000. That's a no-fault coverage for their medical bills that they've incurred. The liability is based off of the expenditures on your annual report, so from time to time we request a copy of that, of your latest annual report. You'll be putting one out here soon, I suppose. Well, maybe you already did, actually, for 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's done.
Then we got auto medical at 10,000 also, so if someone gets in or out of a vehicle and smashes their finger or slips on the ice or something, that could be covered under the auto medical. The rest of those items on page 8, except for the very bottom one, are just additional charges for extra exposures that you have in terms of liability exposures. Then we got the cyber coverage, which covers the town in case someone gets that information of others, such as employees' social security numbers or board members' social security numbers. And you know what criminals do when they get a hold of that information? They set up dummy accounts and it can wreak havoc with someone's credit, and if it's determined that it was your records that were breached, it could come back on the town, and that's what the cyber coverage covers. There's a very modest amount of coverage there, only 10,000. We can go higher, we've talked about that before. I don't know if I thought I sent out the questionnaire that needs to be completed if you wanna apply for higher limits. It just asks questions about computer security is what it, revolves around. Not real expensive to go to higher limits, we just have to qualify by completing that questionnaire. So if you wanna do that, you'll just have to let me know. And then the last thing on this policy is the public officials. Oh, we got hired and non-owned, I'm sorry, and then the public officials. The hired and non-owned would cover, again, it could be board members going to or from a town meeting, causing a bad accident, that's their fault. If their insurance isn't enough, it might come back on the town. If so, our non-owned auto coverage would protect you up to your 5 million limit. I skipped over too, there is uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage on the trucks as well. And the hired auto works similar to the non-owned, except it would be a hired situation, not a non-owned. The public official's liability is at the same level as your other liability, which is 5 million. And that protects the board for acts that they're alleged that they should have done, that they didn't do, or perhaps the reverse, that they did, but it's alleged they shouldn't have, type of thing. There's no deductible on that coverage at all. And within that is the coverage called injunctive relief coverage, which covers what we call non-monetary damages. So if somebody came out here and wanted to put something up that the board was against and a resolution was quickly passed to try to stop that, and subsequently you were sued to change it, that would be an example of where we come in and cover under the injunctive relief coverage. Make sense? You're almost to the point of falling asleep.
Now, is that just the buildings that the township owns, or does that include anything that, we might have had some involvement in?
The injunctive relief, is
Right,
that what you're asking about?
right.
The way I try to sum it up is pretty much any time action is brought against you, we should turn the claim in, and in most cases, we'll probably pay your defense costs, which is really what that coverage does. Up to 50,000 per claim,
Mm-hmm.
50 or 25. Let me get back to you on that exact
Okay.
number. Some examples, our neighbor over here years ago, quite a few years ago now, when they were, before the sand mine came in, there was action brought against the town of Howard for their ordinance that they passed. And we paid their defense costs. We lost, but we paid their defense costs under that coverage. So that's a good example. There's been several over the years. One involved the towns and then the village. Not too many years ago now. We paid the defense costs for the towns on that one. Some of you are familiar with that, I think. And again, there's no deductible under that coverage. So that's probably one of the most used coverages I've seen in the last 5 years or so. 10 years anyway. The only other thing then that we have is the work comp. I don't know if there'd be any questions on that. That's pretty straightforward. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 different class codes, so the duties are divided into different class codes. So the clerical is much, much cheaper than the, patrolman. But it's all payroll rated, and the rates are all set by the state of Wisconsin, so we don't have any control over those. And every year there's an audit completed, so at the end of the policy year, we say, okay, what was your actual payroll? If it's more, you get a bill. If it's less, you get a refund. Simple as that. Any other questions?
We need to go through the lists yet, I mean, I guess we should
Equipment?
take equipment, just, I'll get with Lenny and we'll just go through all of that and make sure we've got it on here. Is this all of it on here, Stacy, on this,
That's all the scheduled stuff. I have
on page,
a bigger list.
yeah, that's on page 7 there?
Yeah. I have this bigger list.
There's some here too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the truck, the license stuff.
I have this bigger list, which, here's the specified outdoor property from here to, well, this whole page pretty much.
Yeah, we probably should have copies of that.
Yep.
So,
You're welcome to keep this one. I don't know if I made any more of these or not, but
well,
you
we
can
can run copies of it too here.
certainly keep that one.
So we should, we want to have copies of all this. So.
I'll look when I'm done here. If I've got more, I'll give them to you. Otherwise,
Okay,
like you say, you can do a copy or two.
okay. Yeah, because then I'll go through, we'll go through all of this and make sure we've got all of this stuff and what the, so that the value is
Yeah.
where it ought to be.
Yeah, number 1 is, do we have everything listed? Number 2, do we have stuff listed that's been sold or junked? And then number 3 are the values, especially on the big items,
Right.
pretty close.
Right.
You're never gonna hit it up exact, but
I can go through the list we have for all the park stuff that we've been maintaining, because we've done this a couple times
yeah.
over the years, so I can pull that list out and go through it, and then
Yeah,
we can package it all up.
Sounds good.
okay.
Mark,
Roger.
is that recycling pole building the only pole building we own? Pole building? As far as you know?
Tarzan.
Is it, we're covered for 11,000 minus 1,000 deductible. So basically, we've got it insured for $10,000. And I know you ain't gonna put one up for less than 20,000 now.
No, that one's at 31 too.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, so you got 30,000 covered.
Okay, okay.
Even that is probably not all that
Hey,
much.
Ken.
but
Is that gator
It's
on
not.
here? I didn't see that gator listed. Should that be on there?
Yes.
Is there just a couple lights?
If we had it on something, it'd be
No,
under-
no, it's got heat.
I think it's, if we had it under, it'd be
There,
under.
Just with the snow loads that were.
Just a little
around
heater.
this winter, hope we never have another one, you know, but.
Cause those things aren't cheap. That's what, 20 grand?
Okay.
Anything else?
Right, what?
Didn't hear anything about the cemeteries?
Yeah, that's in here.
It's in here.
Boat landings you mentioned?
No, that was,
Well, we don't have any, well, we got that.
I don't know, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Because that's under, I saw that in here.
for liability.
Cemeteries is in here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why can't I find it now?
There you go, on page 8. Yeah, and that's the liabilities for exposures,
Right.
for liability endorsements. All that stuff's on there.
Right now, there's nothing at the boat landing.
it says or beach, yeah.
Mhm.
So that should be covering that, though.
There's nothing at the boat landing.
Yeah, but if somebody gets hurt landing the boat, or
Right,
taking
right,
it out,
I mean, that's for liability
Right,
issues.
that, yes, would be covered.
I mean, we had that a claim some years ago where that tragic kid in Lafayette with a rope on a
Swinging.
tree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lafayette got drug into that and got taken out at some point, but
Yeah.
we covered them, until we got it thrown out.
Yeah.
All right, thank you much, folks.
Thank you,
Thank
Stacy.
you.
Okay, well, we'll get the lists, go through and make sure our amounts are all good yet, and then we'll get that to Stacy here within the next 3-4 weeks and get that wrapped up, make sure we're good. Okay, moving on. Treasurer's report. So we've got the balance.
We just added one column for the outstanding checks. That way we kind of have a better idea of what is actually, what we have versus what the bank says so far. So.
Okay, and this 2257, at least that was this last batch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only April
Oh,
checks
yeah,
there,
through
though, Mark.
April.
Only April checks.
So that was what was left for April.
No May checks included in that figure.
Okay. Okay, so this is through the end of April. Okay, so I've got, we'll need to be looking at what income we've got coming in yet this year. And as we get into this road work, so the other day it looked, when me and Scott went through a bunch of that, it looked like we had about $615,000 available for road work, the road replacement and the maintenance work. So, if there's culverts, crack seal, chip seal, or road replacement, we had about 615,000 in the budget for that. And it looks like that's with the additional costs that this winter that Stacy liked so much cost us, so about $30,000 more than what we had anticipated, but that's not bad. There's a lot of money was spent by a lot of people, but we're still okay on that. I mean, we should still have the 615, which is what we were figuring when we did the budget. Any other comments about the treasurer's report?
Mark, you said you were talking about money for road repair. Are you guys aware of 10th Avenue County Line Road, how bad that got over the winter?
Between 50th and 40th?
That would be back in behind the lowdown saloon, so it would be just west of Elk Creek Road.
Yeah, see, that's not our,
That's Union.
that's Town of Union takes care of that.
Yep. I know, I'm very aware. That's my road.
Yeah, that's the Town of Union road that,
We're trying to better do something about it.
yeah, that's one of those town agreements, one of the sections of road that's a different agreement with the townships.
Right, they will
so,
share it, yeah.
So, good, Mark knows all about it.
Unfortunately, that's actually a good shape one compared to a couple other ones.
we've got a couple of them too. Okay. No other questions, and we're going to file that with file the treasurer's report with the clerk. Fire board report, so we had, it was held in Halley. They, discussed some SOPs and put, people in, elected officers for the fire board. So Dave Staber with Lafayette is the chairman, or president, or whatever they call him. The other three officers, let's see, you got a clerk and a treasurer and, what
Vice,
else?
vice chair.
Vice chair. So the vice chair is, who was vice chair?
Same guy as last year.
Gary Spieldy with, the Village of Lake Hallie. The, Vern Schindler has quit the fire board now. So, Dennis, what's Dennis's last name? Vorik, from the town of Howard is on the board. And the town of Halley is, Lee, no, Lee, the town chairman for the town of Halley. Larry Markworth. And that's all they did. That's pretty much it. They turned down we're gonna spend $10,000 for a security system that is actually working right now in Wheaton and Howard and Lafayette, but we voted that down, that we didn't wanna spend that money, so at this point, we'll wait another year before we have to get into any of that, so it's going to be just fine for another year. And they've also agreed to spend a few dollars on, it's not a lot, $800 a year is what it's gonna cost the fire district for IM responding. So that'll be a software program that all the volunteer firefighters will have on their cell phone, and they'll be able, as the calls come in, they'll be able to say whether they're going to be responding or where they are, how far out they are, or whatever. And several townships in Eau Claire County, Dunn County, they use it. Now Chippewa County is going to start, so we should be starting that in June. They think they'll have it partially up and running in June and maybe get the whole thing instituted July or August. So it should make response to fires a little bit more efficient. We'll know where people are coming from and going to and how long they're gonna be. And that's it. Any questions? If not, we'll move on. Plan Commission report. Okay. Any questions? Okay, we'll move on. Town Parks Commission report.
Meeting minutes are up on the screen, but the big things for us, we're continuing to work through our improvement items down there in the park. So we're getting closer on the boat landing ramp, and hopefully we'll have a better idea on the costs for that here at our May meeting. Also, that park rentals have started. We're off to a pretty good start so far. We got 20 rentals booked for this season, so which is a pretty good start to the season. So.
How many times did they run it out last year, Ken?
Usually I wait till the end at the end of the rental season, and then I got a nice comparison chart that I put together that kind of shows year over year how we've been doing and what's the breakdown between upper and lower.
Okay.
You know, just from overall pavilion use. So.
Sounds good.
As far as park security, we've been working on a couple different options. As far as looking at potentially adding some cameras to the park to try to discourage some of the things that have been reported by residents. That have been occurring. So we've been also looking at some basically game cameras for down in the boat landing and over in the park expansion side of things. So we've got a couple different camera options that we'll be reviewing at our May meeting. And then our other big thing for the May meeting, we'll do a park tour, just to, for Parks Commission members and any of the other residents that show up. We'll go around, just kind of do a assessment of all the different pieces down there and see if there's anything else that we need to add into our improvement list that we've been working on.
Alrighty. Moving on then, Wisconsin Utility Tax Association meeting was held on 4/24/19 in Madison? Madison.
The Wisconsin Utility Tax Association meeting was held in Madison on April 24th, and myself and Wayne Miller traveled down there. We learned that the invoice for our dues will be sent out in May or June through the U.S. mail, and that's $2,750, and I already told Scott he's going to watch for that. We had a speaker by the name of Rick Olin, who's the fiscal analysis from the Wisconsin Legislative Fiscal Bureau, and his subject was indexing formula factors in public utility aid distribution formulas. And the lecture provided estimates of indexing the various factors in public utility aid formula to reflect inflation. And this Utility Association folder will be in the clerk's office. And if any of you would like to read about how you can index formulas, it's all right here. Wayne and I got to listen to the lecture. Then we had Representative Rob Kovacs, and he talked about getting a bill passed that will help public utility aid payments for closed or decommissioned plants. And what that was is, and that will also be in this folder, and they may be going to vote on it. It is a legislative bill that if a power plant gets decommissioned or closes, instead of lowering that payment that goes to that municipality or township over 5 years, it will lower it slowly over 10 years. The first year you'd get 100%, second 90, third 80, and then so forth. So that's what we did. A new administrative assistant was also elected, Mr. Gary Olson from the Village of Rothschild, and he is the village administrator. And our next meeting for that is September 18th, 2019.
No, was that what, he sent stuff.
We got this. You got the same email I did. They were talking about this legislation that they were going to look at.
Yeah, and they've got the printout of what each one of the municipalities gets.
Oh, I have that, yes.
Yeah,
That's in
so-
here too, if anybody wants
okay,
to take a
yeah.
look at that.
So, and what, basically what we get for our $2,750 is we get $282,000, $282,046
Mhm.
by spending the $2,750, because without it, we don't get anything.
Because we have
So-
2 power plants here in the town.
But they were before the power plants, the peaking plants that are here in the town. And so then we can go down there and they work as a lobby group for the townships that have power plants. That Lafayette, they get lots of money because they got, not peaking plants, but power generating plants, because they've got the Wissota Dam, so, and, you know, so that, I mean, and in Jim Falls, so like Anson gets a bit of money too, so that's what all of that's for. That's what this Wisconsin Utility Tax Association is, because they don't pay property tax, so that's how how that money is, it's based on their kilowatt, their KW of their.
They don't make a lot more than we do, 282,000, town of Anson.
Anson, yeah, Lafayette is,
Mhm.
I don't remember how much Lafayette had. County gets money out of that, and,
I don't see the town of Lafayette on here. Mhm.
don't know, but anyway, they, so that's why we belong to it, and they have for years, so. Okay, next item, website updates, changes and additions the board would like to have. So, what we're going to do is put this on each month. And so if people want to have stuff, let us know, and, you know, the board can go through it, and so, you know, what's gonna be useful on the website. What changes people would like to see and things like that. And we'll just leave that on and do that each month here. So now, Ken, I don't, you got whatever updates you've got, you can go through them and.
Yeah, so just some of the updates that we did over the last month or two. We added the Wheaton meeting code of conduct, so it's just there as a reference point. So as people are going out there for their agendas and minutes ahead of time, they can utilize that as a reference point if they, you know, haven't attended a town board meeting before. And then with the annual town meeting in April, we created a new section out there called Annual Town Meeting of Electors. And as part of that, we've been putting the agenda, the packet that gets put together for any of the people in attendance, and then the meeting minutes as well. So meeting minutes generally won't get posted until the next annual meeting when they get approved. So those are two changes that we put out there. Again, just trying to, you know, keep information flowing from the website. to people. And then we, underneath the news and notices section, so we have a ability to do like spotlights. And so in April, we did kind of a spotlight to highlight something that's on the website. And so this is something that we could do each month, just to kind of highlight something on there that maybe people aren't aware of, is available on the website. And, so just to try to bring more attention to things that have been put out there and people may not be aware of, so.
Okay. Any questions? Moving on then. Review status of loopy issue. I haven't heard anything, so just that the dome is down.
I saw that.
So other than that, I don't know where that is right now. It stayed up till he was ready to take it down, so. I'm not sure what the status of lawsuits are or anything like that. Don't know. Review, discuss any updates on the protection of the groundwater issue. We
Well,
still have that on here, and
Well, I volunteered to do that. So today I went down to the land conservation office at the courthouse, and I spoke to Joan, who is Dan Masterpole's administrative assistant. And she gave me a stack of paperwork about this thick on everything to do with water, so I'm going to read it all the different issues facing Chippewa County. And she took my Wheaton supervisor email and said she'll keep me updated. And then I talked with Dan Masterpole. And if you go to the Chippewa County website and you see there's something called Groundwater Flow Model for Western Chippewa, Wisconsin, it's 82 pages long and it's going to be reviewed by the Chippewa County Board tonight. It's an analysis of water resources related to industrial sand mining and irrigated agricultural land. And it's on the Chippewa County website right now. If you go to the government and you click land conservation and forest management, you'll be able to find that and you can read that online. And the reason I wanted to talk to Dan Masterpole was, and I wanted to run this by the town board and see what you thought, is that I would like to, I told him if I could, and he's in agreement, say get 40 water kits. And on a Saturday when Scott Deutscher was here, Scott's usually here like from 9 to 1, have those 40 kits here, and I would be willing to take the $8 from the individuals, or if they wrote a check out to the Chippewa County Treasurer for nitrates, then I would give them a kit. They would pay me the $8, fill out a form, and then mark it on a map. They would give me their form that people need to fill out. They would, give me a map so that we could map it, and then they would be able to check their nitrates, and then those nitrates would get put on that recharge map. And Dan Masterpole said that was fine. If the board doesn't have any objection to that, I would do that some Saturday. And that's something that we could put on and post on our website, saying that I would be here from 9 to 1 on this date, and it would cost them $8, because then the county pays the $19.50 for the test.
They told me when you do that, to do it on a Monday, because that way they get it done during the week, because if we do it towards the end of the week, it sits over the weekend, and then your water test is.
for your water, I turn it in
Right.
on a Monday.
I would
Okay.
tell the people that, that's right, that would be something I would tell someone. If I did it on a Saturday, I'd say collect this on Monday and send it immediately. They don't want you to send the test on Friday and Saturday.
And it sits all week.
Right, and I would no, but I mean, I would be here Saturday and tell them to
Oh, yeah,
collect their
like I
own
said,
water on
it
us,
would
yeah.
sit down there all weekend,
Oh, no, they'd send it them themselves and that type. Does the board object if I do that?
Now, does that go to Stevens Point, or does
No,
that
no,
go to
this will go to the
Colfax?
Colfax lab,
It
and
will,
I'm
okay.
just going to deal with the nitrate test only. That, I'm not going to collect money for anything else. Because if I collect the $8, the county pays the $19.50. And like Dan said, well, let's try it with 35 kits and see. Maybe I'll sit here and I won't get one person that comes in. Maybe I'll sell them all, or maybe they'll all fly off the shelves in 15 minutes. So, is that all right if I do that? Work that out with Dan?
I think it
Yeah.
is.
Scott, is that
No
all right
problem.
sometime then, if you're here like from 9 to 1, you'd be
Yes,
here?
that
We
sounds
can
good.
work on a date?
Yes.
All right, I'll go forward with it then,
Okay, and we'll post that on the
when I get a date.
website and
Yeah, I'll get with
so
Ken.
everybody knows. And
I would get with Ken on that, is that all right? Okay,
And maybe have them, who's ever working at the recycling center that day, let them give the people a heads up too as they come in.
we can post something there, and on the website, we can,
Yeah,
sure, we can post it in a couple,
yeah,
sure,
yeah.
Okay.
Give a 3-4 weeks notice.
yeah. I'll probably, won't do it till July or August, because we gotta get the kits, and I gotta talk some more to Joan, but, okay, thanks,
Thank you, that's a good thing.
thank you.
Okay, new business. Review, discuss, act on possible attorney the board should use for various legal issues. The Tom Harnish is just not getting stuff out. I ask him and ask him and ask him, and I just can't get stuff back out from him. I don't mind him doing some stuff for the town. I like the guy, but we gotta have somebody close by that can get things done that will take care of the township. So I personally, I talked to a couple of the other townships, and it sounds like
Benjamin Lane?
Benjamin Lane with Wiley out of Chippewa does a really good job with townships, 4 townships. I talked to him, and he's done other work for the town of Wheaton over the years too. I mean, we don't have to use anybody exclusively. This isn't getting them for everything, or whether he has time to do stuff, or what all he's good at, but he does know town law. He knows the laws of the township, so.
May I speak?
Yep.
Over the last several weeks, I've been trying to work with Attorney Tom Harnish and Patty and Bernice and Andrea, trying to get the ordinances. And it's taken a long time to get them. Well, I got them this past week, and they aren't right. Chapter 9 is Chapter 17, Chapter 17 is Chapter 9, they're all mixed up. So I called over there again, and it's just very difficult to get anything back. It's difficult to get someone to get to the phone, and it's difficult to talk with Tom. So what I'm doing now is I'm still waiting. I'm trying to figure out, I'm talking to their office and Tom, or I'm emailing him, and I'm just not, it's just getting such a mixed up mess. I'm not sure what to do anymore. So I'm waiting now to see, and I wanted it by today, and I didn't get it again, what I needed for tonight's ordinances, but, so it is very difficult to
So
deal.
you haven't got the 6 ordinances back yet?
I got 4 of the 6, but I think there's still 2 missing, and those 2 are real mixed up, and I'm trying to straighten that out right now,
He's had them for what?
since October of 2018.
Now, is Weil Riley able to
Well,
still
this
work
is-
with us if need be too, Mark? I mean, even if we decided to go, say, with who you
To Will?
suggested, Ben? Yeah.
Well,
Weil?
this is Wiley out of Chippewa.
Right,
Then Weld Riley out of Eau Claire is the other one. The thing is that Chris is also the lawyer for the fire district, which is may very well come back to be a conflict of interest here for him. So, that's gonna become an issue, so, and that's why I say that with lawyers, we don't have to have one lawyer doing everything. We can have one lawyer doing one thing and another lawyer doing another. I mean, it's not like we got them on retainer and we're paying them so much a month to do whatever we need them to do. We're paying them by the hour. I mean, it doesn't matter. Get the one that's for any specific thing that is the best
Right.
for that thing. And I guess that way we can get stuff taken care of, I think, so. I mean, I don't need to know what lawyer it is, it's just, you know, we just need to get these items to legal counsel when we need it to them.
Have it
Ben
locally.
seems to be pretty proactive with getting his stuff in and out of there. He realizes it takes townships a while to get things done, so he gets right on it, so.
Do you want a motion then to change lawyers?
Well, I don't know that we just need, I think we just need to have the authority to use legal counsel. However the board wants to do that. Decide on one lawyer or multiple lawyers or whatever. It doesn't matter to me, really.
There's
I
one
mean,
lawyer, I
I
think.
don't have any preference for any lawyer or anything against them, but
Just a quick comment to that, though, don't you have to pay a retainer for every lawyer you get?
no.
No.
We don't have them on retainer.
You don't
Nobody
pay a
is doing
retainer?
that, no, we just pay them by the hour, you know, it's just whether we get them or don't get them, they're working by the hour. His fees are one of the things that, his advantage over Weld Riley is his are $125 an hour, and Weld Riley is like 150 or 175 or whatever they are now. So,
I'll
you know,
make a
he's
motion
cheaper,
that we
he
use
does
him.
a good job as far as I
Done a
can
good
tell. He's done well for Lafayette, for sure. I've talked to Dave Staber quite a bit about him to find out what he can do, and, you know, he's one of them that, what Stacy was talking about with the swings, he had the rope swing when it broke or whatever happened. He was one of them that was involved in all of that, so, along with the insurance company lawyer. So, you know, they all know each other. But,
How does the board feel about sticking with one lawyer though, so that then there's some consistency? Then that attorney gets to know the town of Wheaton. Would that, you know,
that's fine, if that's what you wanna do, that's
Well,
how do you feel about that?
I would say have it for the majority of it, but still
That-
leave it open that you could use
Right.
one of the other ones locally, but keep them local.
Well, Benjamin
So we
Lane
can-
is local, Chippewa Falls.
But I mean, any of the lawyers we use, keep them local so we can walk in
Oh,
their
yeah.
office the next morning if we have to, we can't get hold of them.
And he's a municipal lawyer, I know that.
I think you've
How do you
had real
think,
good luck
Ken?
with him, haven't you?
What do you think?
I think, having a lawyer be able to handle the township's business, so that we have some symmetry there, but I also agree there's gonna be some conflict of interest that come up, and, we can't have all of our eggs in one basket, so we do need to be able to function and do so quickly, when those situations arise, so, it'd be great to have a lawyer be able to handle the majority of it, just because you're not gonna be paying, each one of them to explain things, that may involve another one, but you do need to have some agility when things arise that are a conflict of interest.
yeah, and I think you're gonna, just because the area's, we got a limited number of lawyers that do township law, they tend to end up with conflict of interest. Because they may be working on a case for somebody else that is a conflict of what we're in conflict with what we're doing, so they do have that come up. We gotta be able to do something else, that's the
So
problem with it.
how do you need a motion? It says act.
Well, yeah, I mean, what do you guys wanna do? Just
You wanna-
do we wanna have one lawyer and see what they do, or you wanna,
Yes.
how do you wanna do that?
I think one for the majority
Yeah.
of it that works, and
Okay,
then have
let's have a
the
motion to
availability
pick
for the
somebody.
second.
I'll make a motion that we pick Attorney Benjamin Lane from Wiley Law in Chippewa Falls for the majority of our municipal law.
I'll second it.
Motion's made and seconded to use Benjamin Lane from Wiley Law in Chippewa for the majority of our legal requirements. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Now, if we need to get something else out of there, do something else with other lawyers, we can do that if we have to, but.
Now, what do you want me to do? How long do you want me to continue trying to get these ordinances
Well, we
straightened
need
out
to get
with
that,
Tom?
well, we need to get that straightened out with
But
Tom.
how long? I've been doing this now for several weeks. When do you want me to stop?
What did he say with the last two now? What's his last?
They were supposed to
Be here today.
Yes, they aren't here.
Ask him again and try to get them whatever, to get them from him so
straightened
that
out?
we have everything straightened out from Tom. And he may, Ben, knows Tom and knows him well. They work together. That isn't a big deal either, so they know each other really well, so.
I have made multiple attempts to reach Tom Harnish about getting a quitclaim deed done for Doug Mueller with the cemetery issue. I'd like, with no response from Tom Harnish, I'd like to discontinue his use and contact this new lawyer to get that done.
Well, yeah, and you can do that. We can do that.
Let's put a time frame on this with the ordinances.
How about 2 weeks and see if
Sounds
nothing
good.
happens, then
No.
can I talk?
I won't even say that. Give him until the end of the week. If he has it, don't bother sending him at all. Go
Well-
to the new lawyer. We've been waiting since October. I ain't gonna wait until this
I don't know
October.
what the deal is.
It's time to move.
If I can't get them from him in the next week or so, then we'll talk about, maybe then I can send them to Bill Lane.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yep.
All right,
Okay.
let me do that.
All right.
Okay.
You gotta
moving
give him a
on.
date. I mean, that's a flat out date.
I can.
You discuss time frame and organization required for a decision, decision on how the town of Wheaton provides fire and medical emergency services. Does the town continue in the Chippewa Fire District or pursue other avenues for these services? So, what do you guys wanna do with this fire district and town fire services and all that kind of stuff? I mean, we should probably get some people together that look into that. And I know Herb said that he would be interested in doing some of that. And if we could get people to
I will too.
take a look at that, we gotta get moving fairly fast. This isn't something that's easy to do. And we're gonna have, what we can do is get the fire department to say what they would need to have, to actually operate a real fire department, our own fire department. 9 people is not enough to operate our fire department out here. So we have to be able to get more volunteers. That's the first thing. And so we gotta figure out how we can do that, and then say how many we do need to have. 25, we need to have 25 members. And go to the community and say, look, we gotta have 25 members. What can we get them? And that kind of thing. Where can we get help? I don't mind, I'll talk to the city of Eau Claire and the city of Chippewa Falls. Eau Claire is more likely to be able to provide the medical services. Their response time is going to be faster than anybody else, except for in the West Hill, the stuff at Tropicana. There they will be slower, than other. But every place else, their time frame is faster. And they've already told me they have the capacity to do it. They have the people, the equipment and everything to take care of the EMS. They have no desire whatsoever to do firefighting. They will be more than happy to mutual aid us, but they won't they don't wanna be the fire department. We have to have a fire department that responds promptly and with enough people. So that's the thing that we have to, because we can't just say we're getting out of the fire district and then not have something in place absolutely, working. That's legally set up with the state and everything. So it's a matter of getting all that information together, what we need.
I'd like to ask a question.
Yep.
It's with my understanding, I guess I want this explained to me, why the firefighters and the EMTs, the first responders from Wheaton, they can respond to a call, but you guys cannot transport, is that correct? It has come from Lafayette right now?
Well,
Am I correct on that? And if it is, why?
Whoever the on-duty crew comes out and does the transports, yes. Because that's the way the EMS service is licensed that way. That's the way they have it licensed. So because it's a paramedic service, so you have to they have it licensed that all the transports are gonna be done by a paramedic. And so that's why it's that way. After so many are used, after so many ambulances are used up, then that there's a procedure. Paramedics, then it can go to basics and stuff like that, so that you can get, if there's a really big incident and you have multiple ambulances running, you could get to transport with EMTs. But there's a whole procedure for that, so it depends on how you are licensed, how and that's what has to be figured out. That's what I'm saying.
And that's why I'm asking, because I don't know, and I know I've heard that before, and somebody else asked me about it, and
we need to get a hold of.
Ed said I'd ask.
We should probably, county board guy, tell
Dean
them.
Gullickson.
Dean
Gullickson.
Dean said that he would help give us information about what all has to be done. So, if we're gonna do this and talk to Dean, he'll have information about how to set it up, because he helped set up Tilden's. So he would have some idea about how to do that. But if we're gonna do it, we need to, that needs to get moving pretty quickly.
Be done by the 1st of October, right?
And it has to be legitimate, and I don't want to have anything to do with it. Because I don't want my opinion involved in it one way or the other. I know what my opinion is, but that doesn't matter. We gotta have it, and I wanna make sure that it's what's the best thing for the residents in the town of Wheaton. They're the ones paying the bill. And we're having, the budgets are not being balanced, and it's going to start costing us more and more money. Unless there's something done. And one of the things to do is go on our own and use that money to pay for our own service. So that's what we gotta figure out. Can we do that? Because if we can't do it, then, that's fine too. But if we can, then maybe that's what we should be doing. So what do you want to do with that? Are we gonna?
I think you almost gotta, you need a committee of a couple different people
Residents.
to come together. There's a lot of questions, and I would say a lot of answers to be figured out.
So Scott, you interested in doing something like that? You know something about that stuff. That's why in organizations like that.
No, but I will do that. I will participate.
Okay, because you got some, what goes into all of that, so. And we need.
I like your idea of having a cross-section of people.
Yeah.
That would be beneficial.
Yeah, you don't want to just ask firemen.
But they're a very important component.
It's a part of it. Right, but you need to have other people on that, and that's why we didn't wanna push firemen on this. We need other people, so,
Yeah, I just seen not chair coming like that, that'd be chaired by one of the board members, so
yeah.
I'll do it.
Wait a minute. And, okay, so we'll have to get the committee together, and I don't know how many people we need. We should have 5 or something on the committee, I would think. Mark, you interested?
Why not?
I mean, you know, that's something that,
Your event would be normal outboard equipment. Trucks and, you know, what you're moving forward and stuff like that.
It wouldn't be bad to have one fireman or one EMT on there. From their standpoint, I mean, they know the inside of it.
yeah, I think so too. I think we should have, I'm not sure which one of the firemen wants to be on that, but
When do you guys got your next meeting? Next week? Next month? Why don't you pass the word around and see who's willing to sit on that committee and help do the research?
yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Well, firemen would be an excellent choice, but I would think that there should be a member of their command staff.
Oh, the what?
A member of their fire command staff. One of the
Andrew.
officers. What's that?
Andrew, he's one of the captains and EMT, first responder.
Did I hear you volunteer, Andrew?
I would maybe consider it.
You said Herb was too?
Herb said he'd do that, yeah.
And Dean Gullickson,
Well, Dean said he would help out.
yeah.
I know he said he
Dean
would help.
Gullickson would be.
But now Dean is gonna be more for technical stuff that they
Yeah.
did with Tilden, and and how
Save us
much
some
of it he
steps, yeah.
remembers, and how much of it the law has changed now, I don't know.
Those are the guys so
The
far.
law has changed since Tilden did that, so,
So is Tilden on their own then?
yes,
Trying to catch up with them.
yes,
Are they being successful?
yes.
Yes.
They are part of it, theirs is Chippewa Falls. The EMS is Chippewa Falls, city of Chippewa Falls,
Did you
but,
put Dean's name down?
but they have their own fire department, and the city helps them.
'Cause
They
they're
come
under
and
the fire
mutilate them and
district.
stuff like that, so,
What about including someone from Tilden or someone from Eagle Point or someone from another township fire department that's on
If-
their own or
if they wanted to do it, or, yeah, I mean,
for advisory purposes? or
well,
for-
right. Even for, from Elk Mound,
Yeah.
Les, he
Contact
knows
somebody
what
there.
needs to be done. You guys might wanna talk to him,
Mhm. What's Lisa's last name?
Schaefer, isn't it?
Les Schaefer?
Schaefer.
Schaefer? Schaefer.
So, and I think he would be happy to help out what he can, I mean, he'll, so if we can talk to him and get him and just get it organized, just get a hold of all these people, Wayne, and get it put together and have a report back to us in June.
Well, I got the
We don't need
committee.
we don't need an answer.
Just get the
We
committee.
don't need an answer.
Just get the committee ready by June.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
mean.
No, just line up the committee by June.
And, yeah, let us
Wish
know,
you
I mean, if you get something, that'd be great.
Yeah.
If you could get something together, that'd be awesome. To, to actually get things moving, here's what you have to do. Take a look at SPS 330, that's the fire department regulations, is what, for the, administrative code is SPS 330. I don't know what all the state statutes are. I don't know what the regulations that give the departments their authority, it's the law that gives them the authority, but I do know I do know that SBS 330 is the administrative rules that the fire departments have to go by. How they have to do training and all this kind of stuff. So that's part of it, and then the state statutes is part of it, and Dean probably would be able to help out with some of that if you get a hold of him, he'd be able to help with some of that.
Okay.
And just find out, I don't know if this will go anywhere or not, but this is the time to do it right now. This is when we need to do it. If it goes somewhere, fine. If it doesn't, fine. We'll know where we have to go. At least we'll know what's the best thing for the taxpayers. So we want to make sure that it's in the best interest of the taxpayers in Wheaton. So
Before you jump on to the next subject, I just thought, isn't the fire board meeting next Tuesday, and it's at Wheaton?
Yes,
So is that gonna be at the town hall here or at the fire station?
fire
At the fire
station.
Parks Commission got their meeting next
Yep.
week.
Yeah,
yep, that always happens.
they go in the kitchen.
Oh,
Yep, been there. They go to the kitchen.
I'll learn.
Yep.
You guys will probably be done by the time, because our meeting's at 8 o'clock.
Oh, is it at 8?
Yeah,
Okay.
oh, you're moving your meetings to 8 now?
Yeah,
Oh,
just
sure.
for May and June
Yep.
because of.
Oh, I know, ball. Yeah.
Okay.
Next.
What's that?
The fire board meeting is at 7:30 is the agenda that came out.
7:30 instead of 7 o'clock.
It got
Okay.
moved until 7:30?
Yes. Okay.
Review, discuss, returning town keys, email addresses, records that town officials in any capacity may have. Discuss open records and security concerns. So we've got, I don't know, Scott, did you get your key and stuff back from Herb yet?
I haven't been able to make contact with them.
Okay. We still need to get a hold of him, and we gotta get the stuff from Dennis. I wanna make sure all the board knows, we got keys, you gotta give them back. Or otherwise you're going to be responsible for rekeying all these locks, and it's not cheap. If you don't want a key, that's fine with me too. You don't have to have one, or you're not forced to have one, but if you want one, that's fine. It's just that you gotta keep up with them. We can't let them get loose like they were previously, where we had no idea who had keys to what.
So Dennis and Herb's keys are not back.
Correct.
Does Wayne have his email yet?
No.
Nope.
What's
We're
going on
working
with
on that.
that? Oh,
So we're working on that at this point. That'll be handled shortly. Herb, I know Herb's gonna, it's just a matter of getting a hold of, for Scott to get a hold of Herb, and he'll get the time to do it. So, I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows, because we're having a problem with this. When you change offices, turn the keys in immediately, so that there isn't a problem with it. We gotta keep the open records, these are all open records concerns, so, them records are public records, all them emails are public emails. So,
Mark?
Yep.
Maybe sometime in the future, you might wanna consider like going to keyless locks, having a
card fob.
card, no,
Or-
not a card or fob, cause then you'd have the same key problem, but a code that you punch in. Because in those types of systems, you can always change them, you can change them once a month if you want. But I can imagine it's a headache to try to get keys and everything back, and then you have some
Yeah.
security concerns for the building, because I don't see a lot of cameras around here. And, but sometimes.
They're hidden
through a
really
sensor
good.
system, you know, you can change every month.
Yeah, they're hidden really good. But yeah, I agree, I mean, we definitely need to keep up with the security on the buildings, so.
I mean, I could, from a perspective, for our the coaches that, coach down in the park, in order to get access to the equipment shed, we have them sign a thing that says, upon the end of the season, it gets turned in, and we keep a record of every key and which one's assigned to them. And if they don't turn it back in, then they pay for the rekeying of the doors that are affected. And we've had that in place for the last 3 years, and we've not had a single key not get returned. And we certainly are not wasting our time hunting people down to get the keys. They know at the end of the season, they turn their gear in, they turn their key in. It's all spelled out right from the get-go. And we're not sitting here with new people sitting in positions and not having the things properly turned over.
And key fob or electronic lock is not actually that bad of an idea because it keeps a record of who comes in and who leaves. So every time that key fob is used, that person's name will come up.
Yeah, and you can get the ones with the cards that are reprogrammable, so you can reprogram them to.
You can deactivate them, can you not?
Yeah, you can deactivate them.
So they could have the card and we could be like, so what, you can have the card, but it's not any good.
Right. But, yeah, but then that's even more money. That's not cheap either, so.
Could you modify something for when the next April 2020 election comes up? Could you modify something that just says that the next persons that, get elected, just sign that say upon, your 2-year term is up, and if you don't win, you sign something, turn in the key, sign something like that?
Your
Same
last
thing
check
for,
will be held.
same thing for emails. You need to surrender your emails, because the night that we got the 2 new planning commission members, it went really easy. That night, they just went right over to the new, planning commission members. But should we put something in writing that someone signs?
I could draft something up.
Just similar to what you did for the keys at the park. Could you do that? Could you do that? Is that all right?
Yep, that'll
For
work.
emails and key, put it all in the same little, don't have to have 2 separate ones, just have one separate, one paragraph that says that?
Yep.
Okay, enough of that.
Yes.
Review, discuss, act on land division proposed by Kim Haas for the division of the westerly 20 acres of the 40-acre parcel bordering 30th Avenue and 30th Street in Township of Wheaton.
Kim Haas, 1184 10th Avenue, Elkhorn. And I'm asking for approval to create 4 5-acre lots with a private road. And that private road would be all 4 homeowners or property owners would sign an agreement stating that they know that it's a private road. And there'd be an easement on all of that land going through, 66-foot wide with 120-foot easement radius at the cul-de-sac, which is the required, I guess, road frontage for a cul-de-sac. So that would be in place for an easement, but they'd all have to agree on it and pay for it, all 4 property owners. Any questions?
The road right now would be developed as a gravel or?
Okay, it would be
or
gravel,
paved?
well, it would be gravel and then millings would be put on top of that. It would be probably about, my husband said about 14 feet wide, so it would be a driveway. And then the millings is crushed asphalt.
Mhm.
And for us, we have it on a really long driveway. It works really good. We really like it. I mean, it lasts.
Yeah. That's fine, I mean,
Yes, Scott?
As a member of the planning commission, I voted for this project. There were a couple of concerns that I had that I thought the board should address or at least be aware of. mentioned one of them is gonna be a private driveway. I think we definitely should be on the record that this is a improved driveway. It's not a roadway for the purposes of a future township road at some point in the future. Because once you have 4 people, especially the 2 people in that bottom, 600 feet, 600 or 600 and some odd feet, how long is it?
Yeah, I'm not 100% on the easement, I guess, because I don't have that map, or I mean, the driveway itself is gonna be, well, half of, it's gonna be about 660,
Okay.
about, yes.
And it's been my experience by the people that I know on shared driveways, they have a lot of issues. But that's on private property, I understand that. And she's gonna have a turnaround, so fire department could get in there, ambulance could get in there. But for me, if we're looking at 5, 6, 10, 15 years down the road, there might certainly be an inquiry here to this board on converting that to a township road, and people will live there in the future. And I think we've got to just make it very clear on the record that this is an improved driveway. It is not an improved roadway that you would come in and change to a township road without considerable
Right.
expense.
In order to become a township road, town has to take it over, and the only way that the town can do that is if it's built to town specifications, with base cores, shoulders, ditches, culverts, everything has to be in before we'll even consider taking it over. And the town, that's been the policy for the town forever, and it's going, I mean, I see no reason that would ever change. But yeah, they do need to, as long as the people all know that, and that it's in their purchasing
Agreements.
It would be our
agreements.
covenants,
Right,
yeah, and that would be in there, and they'll all have to sign it, and they're all gonna, for sure
Right.
know that.
yeah.
The other concern I think that the board should address is that, okay, it's gonna be a shared driveway for the 4 lots. But what is the board's expectation, this is your decision, on those 2 outboard lots, or the inboard, the ones that address to attach 30th? Do you want additional driveways in there from those lots to 30th? Because there's gonna be a potential for the homeowners to come forward and ask for that too. Then you'd have 3 quick driveways right in the middle. And is that something that you want?
No.
So, I mean, I think that you should discuss that and make a decision on that. If that is gonna be a shared driveway between those 4 lots, those people, I mean, you need to make a decision. I think I'd recommend that, are those people gonna be using that as their main driveway, or are they gonna come back here and say, listen, we want to put up a shed, we want additional driveways out to 30th? So they're gonna have 3 driveways, quick succession.
Right, which is really quite dangerous, and especially on that road it is. There's a lot of traffic on that road these days, so. Yeah, there shouldn't be additional driveways to them lots. They're just, we don't wanna have additional driveways
And the
off of
front
the
2
road.
lots could pretty much, I mean, they could just veer right onto their lots without really even having to use that share, so I don't think that they would really care if they had their own driveway. I mean, most people can't have 2 driveways anyway. I mean, if they had this one and for a shed, I mean, you can't have, I don't know if you guys allow 2 driveways on a property.
We have allowed that, but we need to, there's distances between the driveways that they have to be, plus that there is up towards the west end, right? This here, the west end of 30th, be right by 30th and 30th, but it's about 20 east of the intersection, right? Is that the,
Right across from Jan
Yeah.
Yes.
Dole's,
It's just
or not quite,
Right behind them,
660 feet west of that intersection of 30th and 30th.
correct?
right behind Don Osmond's old house. The
Oh,
brown
okay,
house on the
right.
corner. Is that woods?
Okay, so the house on the corner
Mhm.
is over on this side of it, right?
On
Yeah.
the east.
Right there. Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
really, the front 2
Yeah.
lots really would only have to come in a very short ways, and still pretty much,
Should be the key for it.
it won't really be like they're sharing the front 2. So So I don't know, I suppose you never know, they might ask for their own, but you don't have to approve it, you know.
We should.
In the covenants, it'll say that they're all sharing the
Yeah.
private road.
Yeah, I think that we keep that where there aren't additional driveways off of them lots. There aren't out onto the highway, onto the road, that there is quite a bit of additional expense and problems for the town just in plowing and everything else, so that would
Right into the
go in.
covenants.
What's
That
that?
That this private driveway is for all lots, all 4 lots.
On the driveway?
Share,
Right.
And that is their driveway, will be already in place.
And the people have to know that they're going to be doing the plowing and maintaining of that road themselves, so. And you know, if it's not plowed and there's a medical emergency and you can't get in, that's the hazard with that, but as long as everybody knows that, as long as they know that, they make that choice knowingly, then I guess I don't have a problem with it. So as long as that kind of stuff is written to their agreements.
You gotta remember that your right of covenants, I can't, I'm really having trouble hearing without talking. Your right of covenants, I have a covenants where I live. They can vote to change the covenants. So that's not for the next 25, 30 years, they can vote to make changes to the covenants. That's why I bring to your attention that what's the town board's position on additional driveways and making that clear now so that you don't have to come back a number of years.
And fight about it.
Kim, I had a question for you. At that meeting the other night, did you mention that you're gonna have in the covenants that there's, new manufactured housing?
Yes, no mobile homes. Then there's the home that you can put together like, what is it, where they build them in a controlled environment. Those are okay,
Prefabs?
but no mobile homes and single family only. Right, a prefab, that's like pretty nice one if it's built in a controlled environment, but a mobile home, they depreciate it.
Well, what we need to have is, okay, so you've got a CSM you're developing for this then?
Right, and as long as I get approved tonight, then, my surveyor will finish up what he has to do, and then it will get recorded, and as soon as he.
What about the requirements so what does the board wanna do for the driveways and all that kind of stuff? Or do you not care? I mean, I think that to have additional driveways there is not a real good thing to do with lots like that. It's not good to have driveway after one after the other. It's a problem for the town maintaining culverts and things like that, so we're better off to hold it to one road, so.
And each person that buys in is gonna know that this is already in place and their driveway is already in place, so.
Yeah, that just has to be written in. So when, with your CSM, then the other documents to have is what you're going to be telling them, you know what I'm saying?
Right, it'll be written and then they'll sign it.
Right.
And if you want, I could have, I guess after everybody signs it, or as they sign it, maybe you
Or
want to
before
send
they sign it, this is what they're going
materials.
to sign.
I don't know if you want record yourself.
When do we say that
Yeah.
we don't have an extra driveway?
Right.
Good.
Right, I think we need to have a record of what would be in there so that we tell them, no, you can't have additional driveways like that, just the one driveway. And in the future, if they ever want to have the town take that over, they have to pay for building it then, up to that standard. So, to the town road standards, which it's gonna be running $180,000 a mile.
Is that called
that big enough for Wheaton?
120 feet is, yeah.
They got it down to 60, but she agreed to put it at 120.
Yeah, I didn't have it revised on my map.
Oh, yeah, that's an old map, we talked to her about it, it'll be 120.
Mark, would they run into trouble with that, like that place over by the store, the second cul-de-sac up towards Gary Mo's, you know? That was not paved in there, remember, and they wanted us to plow that. And finally, they put where we plow it now, they had to put a road in there. You think she's gonna get this kind of problem? I do.
Well, that's why it's gotta be in her covenant.
I mean, these four people that buy that.
The difference with that,
It's like Scott said, tomorrow, somebody else comes in there, you know?
right, but the difference with that, Roger, was in that situation, the people who bought it with, under the understanding
Somebody was gonna fix that.
that was going to be a town road. And then the developer never finished it.
Yeah.
That's where we got into trouble. I mean, and they got into trouble, and they got into a lot of discussion at the town board. And it finally ended up that they ended up paying for, and then we had a special assessment, right, Ruth? There was a special assessment for several years for them, to get that all paid for, to bring it up to town road standards,
So we need to make a motion.
So as long as the people know that, when they buy it, and they have that in their deed, or whatever, and everybody can see it, they know what they're buying. Me personally, I wouldn't agree to buy that, but, because I would say, well, no, let's get this fixed right now, and then I'll buy it. Because I don't, but, you know, I mean, there's lots of ways of doing that.
That's why
There's
she's
lots of
putting
people who
in,
wanna do that.
that's why she's putting in that 66-foot right of way, so there's
Right.
no disagreement later on down the
Right.
road about, I don't wanna give up that extra right of way.
Right, right. No,
As far
that's
as-
the way to do that.
As far as covenants are concerned, past practice has been that covenants are fine as long as they don't interfere with town ordinances.
Right.
So, they
Right.
can't put anything in there that supersedes our ordinance.
Right, right, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think that we need to have the document that's written before you actually have them sign it, just so that we,
But you, within the next week or two for sure.
yeah, we'll have to meet, we have a board meeting with it to make sure that we're happy with it, but, so, which will be in June, unless we have one in between here for this road work, which we might have to do. But yeah, I think that's,
So we want her to
Yep.
put in there that no additional driveways. Is that
yeah, I
correct?
think so.
Oh, okay.
Driveway
And to
must
make
come
sure
off
that
that
it's
Driveway,
clear,
yeah.
private
and to
road.
make sure that
Private
it's clear that if that's ever a town road, the property owners have to pay for that to get it to that town road standard.
Right, that this is a shared driveway, not a road.
That's right,
Yeah, and I'll explain it, that
yeah,
if they ever come to terms, that's what they have to do, or they all four have to come to terms to do that.
right, right.
Okay.
All right. We should have a motion on approving this or whatever with them stipulations, so.
I'll make a motion with the stipulations to approve it.
Name the stipulations.
Pardon?
You'll have to name the stipulations.
So the stipulation that, the driveways have to come off that private road, and, the covenant be brought up that stating such, that they'll be responsible for the road. Before the township would ever take it over, they'd have to bring it to township, standards.
Road specs, yeah. Okay. I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. You got that, Scott?
Yep, got it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Review, discuss, act on the hiring of Cedar Corp from Menominee, Wisconsin as the firm to update the Wheaton Comprehensive Plan. Presentation of Plan Commission discussions included.
Okay, just so the town board knows, we went to talk with, Tom Piercy and I went to talk with CB Squared with Sheriff Coughlin. We went to Cedar Corp in Menominee. We went to SEH in Chippewa Falls, and we went to MSA in Rice Lake. So we looked at 4 different ones. Cheryl said that she didn't feel that it was the best fit to work on the comp plan, so CB Squared declined. So the other night at the Planning Commission, we spent well over an hour going through them, and what we found was that Cedar Corp had a lot to offer us. The scope of their project is that they will assist us with completing our plan. They will do a community survey, help us with that. They'll do the public participation where they will have public input. They will review the existing comp plan and remove text tables, figures, and maps in the existing plan, and they'll keep text tables, figures, and maps that are determined to be beneficial. They'll update the text tables, figures, and maps, and any additional tables, figures, and maps that need to be. They'll gather all of the information and do all the research and work with us with the written text, the mapping, photos, tables, and figures. They will set up meetings with us, as many meetings as we need. They will work with the town board. All the travel expenses are included, then the travel time and mileage are all included in their fees. They'll provide 15 hard copies of the adopted update, 1 flash drive of the digital copy of the update, and a Word document of the written text, including all the tables and figures. The town would be responsible for posting the notices and agendas, arranging the meeting facilities, providing them with a Word document of the existing comp plan. They would do the plan distribution, help us with the community survey. Their timeline is from May 1st or June 1st of this year until May 1st of 2020. They had a lot to offer us as far as proximity, also being right over here in Menominee. And they said that they would do this not to exceed $17,500. We had not decided yet on the survey part of it, so we have not included that in that bid. We still have to decide that. We're gonna talk about that in June.
For how the survey is gonna be done?
That's correct. We were thinking that we would do a paper survey, and because some of the residents don't have internet services, so they wouldn't be able to do an internet. And what we're looking at is, for example, Cedar Corp has an online survey for 2,183 and a paper survey for 4,785. But the University of Wisconsin River Falls has 2 different options, and they're a little bit more expensive, but they have a means to do statistical analysis of the data with an executive summary and full write-up. And that's what we're gonna talk about next month. We're gonna go into an hour or so of trying to figure out if that's what we need.
Worth it?
Yeah, is it worth it or not? We don't know yet. So we're not talking about that. We're just saying that Cedar Corp really pushed all the right buttons. And Tom, and we all thought that. It was a majority vote, 7-0, we hire Cedar Corp. And Tom can tell, he checked out their references, and they had excellent references. You wanna tell one of them?
Well, I called the village of Cadott, and they did their, Cedar Corp did their comprehensive 10 years ago. And they also retained them to doing their engineering work now. So, I mean, I've got no problem. I've really had no problem with all 3 of them.
Oh, right.
Because they were well prepared, when we went to see. They had gotten a copy of our plan, and they had questions and everything else ready.
So they understand the problems that we have with the city of Eau Claire and the city of Chippewa Falls and all of that stuff, so they know what to do to work that in.
Right.
Right, we talked about that, and we talked about County T, with all of them. Everybody got the same thing. We talked about County T, we talked about what's happening with annexation possibly, and we talked about looking at the Highway 29. They're gonna look at talk to the DOT, see if the DOT knows if they're gonna close 20th,
Wheaton,
30th, 40th,
right.
right, timeline. Yeah, everybody got the same. Would you like to know what the other ones kind of proposed?
Yep.
Well, MSA out of Rice Lake proposed 6 meetings, 1 public hearing. They would do either a mail or online, and they would begin here and end this about the same time. Their plan development was 17,900. Their meetings were 10,600, and then their surveying costs came to 37,900, and then printing and mailing out the surveys, they came to about $42,500 for theirs.
Compared to 17.
That's correct.
Well, at 17, you gotta figure there's the survey yet.
Yep, we
Yeah.
still have the
Yeah.
survey
23.
costs, right.
So 23.
So the bottom line for that was about 42,000, right,
Mhm.
yeah. And then with SEH, they proposed 6 meetings, public hearings. They were going to have 2 public hearings. First meeting, a public involvement workshop, a second meeting, a opportunity to comment. Their start date was the same, ended next year, and their project cost with the survey was 41,000. And their staff billed on an hourly basis, so they had additional expenses for SEH. So there will be more cost with Cedar Corp, depending on how we go with the survey. So it would still, though, not be, it'd be still maybe be 23,000 or 24,000 on the survey options,
Mhm.
so, but we have to talk about that yet. But we were very comfortable with Cedar Corp. All of us were. We spent a little over an hour discussing all of them. We read all of their.
What do we have in their budget?
10,000 this year and 10,000 next year.
So we got 20 in there.
That's correct. We'll need a little more for the survey for next year, and.
Well, when do they need to do that survey now, though, don't they, early on?
Oh, yeah, let's see, yeah, early on. Yeah.
So that there really is an expense early on
Yes, it
to
is.
finish that. Talked about, because some of that, did you talk to them about the commercial locations of commercial properties and things like that? Is that, they know that we're gonna get into some of that.
We talked to them about, Chippewa County zoning, definition of commercial property and where it is different than what the town of Wheaton has in their plan.
So they're gonna,
Try
because,
to- Try to mesh those 2 together and come out with a more uniform plan.
right, and one of the things is, where else is there going to be commercial property? If the town wants commercial property in other locations, that's some of the stuff that they would have to
We talked about that with them.
survey,
Mhm.
as they do their survey, that's how what they would have to do, is get that all finalized.
And we
how
talked,
they want to-
we talked about the questions. We don't know that we want to use the same questions that are in the back of our comp plan. We want different questions also.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have some copies of some different ones, and they have some suggestions. They said this community survey, July and August is their timetable.
okay, so them questions would be brought before the board here to look at, or
Yes.
is that how that they want that done?
Yes.
Or are they,
Oh, we would run it by the board, wouldn't we, Tom?
Good,
Yes, we sure could. They're willing to work with both the board and the planning commission.
yeah,
Yes,
that might be the best
I
way to
think
do
it
that,
is.
run all of that by the board.
yes.
Well, about what questions they're going to have on the survey, how they're going to do it, make sure that everybody's comfortable with how they're doing all of that.
We will.
Okay,
I'm
any
just-
other
Yeah,
discussions?
any questions? Wayne, you were there for the meeting. Were you comfortable too with Cedar? You were, weren't you, with Cedar Corp? You sat through the whole thing and
Yeah.
looked at all the different,
I thought they were a very good choice.
I thought so. We did too.
Okay, we need some action on it to either go ahead with it or look at it again later or whatever, so.
We need to get going. on
Yeah,
it.
we
gotta get going on this. We gotta hire a corp and get going.
I'll make a motion that they hire Cedar Corp to do the help with the comp plan.
I'll Second that.
Motion made and seconded to hire Cedar Corp. Roll call.
Bud
That's
Beckman,
at the 17,000.
$17,500.
Plus survey.
Oh,
Plus
right,
the survey.
yeah,
Which
yeah,
is fine.
which we will tell you about next month.
Yes.
We're all reading the
Yep.
material now, we're gonna
Yep.
talk about that at the Wheaton. We'll have that monetary amount to you next month.
Okay,
So 17,500.
right. Okay. Roll call.
Bud Beckwith,
Aye.
Wayne Miller,
Aye.
Alice Drosky,
Aye.
Ken Books,
Aye.
Mark Blaskowski.
Aye. Okay. So let's contact them and get things moving. Review, discuss
Thank you.
the remodeling of the town hall for secure treasurer's office. So I could do drawings of it. Here's what I envision for is that corner back there to the middle of that window. The first window would be in the treasurer's office, so it goes over that part, so it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 feet by 2, 4, 6, 7 feet, 9 by 7 or something. Something to here. 2, 4, 6, 7, so somewhere in here to about, and to where the wall would be to that window. A room about that size, we could put what I think we should have is a bank depository box there, so people can put
I agree.
their taxes into that box. Or if they mail it, that's fine, because we can get it out of the mailbox and the town guys will put it right into that safety deposit, into that,
Yeah.
into that safe. And then the treasurer would have access to, would be the only one having access to that safe. I don't know how much that one of them costs, I didn't check on that. That's my initial thought for putting a room in right there,
I think that's a good idea.
and then that way the treasurer from now on would have, and then we put a door in from through that wall.
Mhm.
Oh,
So it
into it.
would be right across from the treasurer.
Is that gonna be big enough, 7 by 8, or
Oh, yeah.
should
It's big enough. I mean,
Go
it's
8
one
by
desk
8?
and a
That's
box.
fine.
Yeah, I would think. I don't know, what, is that big enough, Ruth, for all of that, for the books and?
No?
You know, I envision this job someday to come be full-time for a treasurer.
It is full-time.
I know, but I mean, when people would come to our house, it disrupted the whole program. I
Well,
just,
they wanna stand around and talk and visit.
and if they come in here and she's here, it's gonna screw her up. I mean, let's go another year, let her get her feet wet with this next tax season, you know?
We might have to anyway, cause we might not have enough money for it, but, yeah, I mean, I don't know how much layout space you need to have for that.
I
You'd have quite a
agree
bit.
with Roger. I think we gotta feel this out for this first year. See what Laura's needs really are. And what,
But at any rate, I don't want things coming to the house. So like a deposit box, I feel like needs to happen at some point.
You know, this treasurer's job is, you know, when I first started 14 years ago, it was easy. Quickly get done with taxes and the reports and everything else. Well, during those 14 years, it has gotten so big. It's like I collected almost or a little bit more than $2 million in a 6-week period. Constantly busy, constantly. Some days I get, 103 envelopes, and they could have dog tags and this and that, and I mean, it was just unbelievable how much we've grown, you know, with this township.
And it's gonna get bigger.
And I'm.
So how big of a space do we need?
But does Laura need
When I,
does Laura
when I
wanna do it
come
out of
here,
her
you know,
house?
and I have a schedule, so I have my computer up and everything, and they walk in with their taxes to get paid. So I might be busy for an hour, 2 hours,
and then there's nothing. And then, so you're waiting and you cannot do any more with your, on the computer because you have that information all set up for the next person. So consequently, that's why I quit coming to the town hall to do it, I just did it out of the basement, you know. So, but, I mean, we've grown, our actual tax was like 4 million something, you know.
So are you thinking you wanna do it out of your house?
I mean, I would like to be able to work from out of the house, but I don't want mail and stuff coming to the house.
So if we were to get one of those, what are those called again, those safe boxes?
Well, night deposit.
Night deposit box, could you put it in somehow the clerk's office and then?
No, I mean, we can put it in this room and it wouldn't matter. I mean, them are secure, they
You
would,
can't
they're
lift
safe.
it and hoist it
Well,
out?
they're fastened to the floor.
Oh, okay, yeah,
You fasten that to the floor and then and
okay.
so they're,
So that
I
could,
mean, somebody could come and take the
Right.
whole damn box, I guess, and rip it out of the wall, I guess, but
no,
they'd have to go through a lot of work to
yeah,
do it.
forget that. But, so we could do that and still let her work out of her house for a year.
I mean,
We
they-
could.
They took it all out of our mailbox one day, and it was a silver Honda, a man and a woman, they got videoed up at Walmart, they broke into a car there.
They were all receipts.
Cops
so-
called us, they said, are you the treasurer? Yeah, come on down, pick up all this wet mail.
What do you think,
They
Wayne?
threw it out in the Oakwoods parking lot.
What do you think? We could hold off and just get a lockbox?
We can do that. I'd have to, how much volume do you have at any
For a
one time?
lockbox.
In
Our-
a
You know, we got one of the large metal mailboxes,
yeah,
that handled it.
okay,
Daily, yeah.
yeah. So Laura, how often do you wanna come up here? To
Daily,
empty that?
daily.
I guess I'll have to see. I mean, I don't know.
Well, it's just that, cause I could get pricing on a box like that, you know, to see how much that would be. And start out with that, we can do something like that, and you could put it through in the wall in the clerk's office, but we'd have to move filing cabinets and stuff, there really isn't any wall space in there. But you don't wanna get, that's not enough room for clerk and treasurer in that
No,
little space.
oh, no. But just a lockbox, even here, for her, and she could work at home and just come here and pick it up, pick the taxes up.
Yeah, I mean, we can get the town guys, they'll take the stuff out of whatever's mailed and put it in to the boxes so it's secure all the time. That's the big thing, is just keeping all that secure and it would be fire resist, you know, that would be,
You have people renting the townhouse, or you need to have it secured, they
Right.
cannot get into it any which way, you know.
right. Yeah, we can make that, we can get that secure, I mean, that there would be, that would be a safe, it's gonna be a safe that's inside here. And we'll have to look at that, how we handle that. I just don't know how big of a space you need for a treasurer. I guess I don't have that in my mind.
You know, during the tax time, you come over and it's like, I got stuff here, and there, everywhere, they're running out of room.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
because you've been so busy, you know, and I'm just gonna be upfront about it, it's not, at the beginning it's slow, you know, when they first start sending their
Yeah,
taxes.
right. Okay, so what do you guys wanna do? Get pricing and I can bring it back to the next meeting?
Yeah.
For doing something like that, getting them safe?
Yeah, do that.
Sounds right.
That sounds good.
Okay, well,
Is that hallway
get
big
started
enough
on it
ever,
anyway.
I realize what you're saying here.
You couldn't put a
Would-
lockbox in there.
Well, what I'm saying though is, could that possibly be if we move that wall over to where that other jog is, out, and then have that, instead of have the entrance there, have it where the middle window is, and have the office in that section?
I'm not sure
You'd lose less room. The hallway's wasted space right now, basically.
Oh, yeah, I see.
So you've come out 2 feet from that wall over, Mark,
yeah,
and bring the wall out like this, and possibly put the office in that area, put the doorway by where the middle
for
window
the
is.
entrance to the building?
Yeah,
You see, forget the hall.
Yeah, I don't know, I guess I don't.
It's just a thought, I mean, that's,
Yeah, I don't know, I'd have to look at that.
let's get back to what we were saying there, I just
Yeah,
wanted to shoot that past everybody.
yeah,
We can hold off on remodeling, like she said, and Scott said for a year. Just get the lock, try, see what a lock buys.
okay, I'll find out what that is and I'll bring that back for the next meeting.
June.
If you ever wanted like a deputy treasurer, you know, like
Right,
could help or something, because I just know how it is, especially the holidays. And
yeah.
I didn't get to go anywhere for Christmas. I stayed in the basement.
Shame on you, Roger.
Yeah, I locked the doors. And then
Okay.
I have a drop box too in front of, you know, patio door.
Okay, so
You put it in there and
we've got the, road work. So, and I'm gonna get the documents together for this here in the next week. You guys wanna meet like next Thursday or something to go through this road work? And and then we can go over what you got here, so you can go look at these roads if you want, or whatever. We've got one item, the 70th Avenue that we did with the town of Tilden last year. They used the wrong oil or something. So the aggregate came off the road, it didn't stick on like it normally does, so
They gonna stand behind it?
they are going to redo it at their cost. Scott's Construction said, Chase said that they were gonna come out and scrape what they could off of there and put new oil on it and redo the aggregate themselves, so they will stand behind it.
Good.
So, but he said he thinks they did use the wrong oil or something, or they either used the wrong oil or the oil was bad, but they're going to take care of fixing all of that. So, at least we will get that taken care of, so if anybody mentions anything about it to you, that will get taken care of.
That was
All right.
70th?
The roads that we're looking at redoing, chip sealing 20th Street, all the way from the railroad tracks up north to 29. Chip seal that 20th Street, 12th Avenue, and 44th, so down Rod Cook's addition. All the roads around that, doing chip seal on that.
In that edition?
Yep. That'll be 12th, 14th Avenue, 12th Avenue, and 44th Street is what them are. 103rd Street, so that's the river road, road down to, no, not river road, the road down to the boat landing. From X all the way to the boat landing, doing chip seal on that. So that's 103rd, 33rd, and 106th is what that road actually is. So, and then, that's all the chip sealing that we've got right now. Crack seal, it's on the blue lines here, so we've got crack sealing 40th Street and 30th Avenue, so that was the intersection project, but we'll crack seal, we need to go through and do all the crack sealing. That road's in good shape. This last winter really took a toll on everybody's roads. It's really messed them up, cracked a lot of roads, but the road beds and everything are good, we just need to maintain them, so we're looking at crack sealing that, crack sealing, 50th Street from 45th Avenue north to 50th Avenue, so down past Ken Custer's. That section of road that was put in a couple of years ago, we'll crack seal that. 50th Avenue, there's only a few places on 50th Avenue, but but we're gonna, it's only a couple of them. And, in 90th Street, which is, there's only 1 or 2 cracks in that, so I think we're gonna be fine on all of that crack sealing, but if you can take a look at them, and not, here's the map, so you can look where that is. And if you've got other roads that you think need it, then that's what I wanna do next Thursday or something, if we could meet next Thursday. Can you meet Thursday?
I'm just gonna
Next-
look at my
next week?
calendar. What time?
6.
You got-
I'd like to meet a little bit earlier if we can. That'd be the 23rd. Or another day, I mean, if there's another day that works for everybody, that's fine. Thursdays usually work, Tuesdays usually are bad. Wednesdays work for me too. I could meet on a Wednesday or a
Well,
Thursday.
that's our board of review, the 22nd.
Yeah. So maybe if we could, of course, we could meet, let's see, the board review is 6 to 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to meet right after that? On the
We could do that.
22nd?
Right at
Meet right after the board review
at 8 o'clock.
at 8 o'clock?
Sure.
Yeah, we could do that, and then we can finish up the road stuff.
Can you make
That'll
a
work.
copy of that somehow?
Yeah, well, yeah, or, yeah, we'll just leave it here.
What's the date on
Well,
that
with
now?
the legal- yeah,
The
but can the legal
22nd?
paper do that?
And that's on a
That's bigger
Wednesday?
than legal.
On a Wednesday.
No, it's a
There's board of review
our-
from
our
6
copy
until
will
8.
do this.
Okay.
And then we're gonna go
Yeah, you can have that.
8
That's-
o'clock.
that's fine. We don't can't
Wednesday,
color.
the 20,
No. 'Cause
Second.
Then I would know
Second.
exactly where to go and look.
Yeah, that's fine.
and if it,
I'll make it,
is
let's
like
just
the
make it-
board of review
Yeah,
is
we
like
can
it's
make
been for
copies.
the last
You want a
15
copy of
years.
this?
So let's meet on,
let's make a copy of this.
Yeah.
Okay,
let's meet on the 22nd, right after the board of review
Yeah.
then.
that
Okay.
sounds great.
That'll work. And then we can have it all done at one time and
Good.
get done with every
Mhm.
bit of that.
I will work.
And, so the road construction that we're going to, we're gonna tear out and redo the soak-up addition, should've said something. That road's just, that
Where's
really
that?
blew up. 72nd and 67th off of N.
Oh, that's one I talked to you about.
Yeah, that there is really blown up. It's, that whole, both of them have just gone to pieces completely. So we have to redo that one. We're looking at doing 95th Street and, and then from the bridge over to 90th Street on 65th Avenue. So this stuff up here, up by Mike McGinley's and then 65th Avenue coming across to 90th. That road is in pretty bad shape.
So is that part of 95th? From the bridge to,
That's 65th Avenue.
oh, 65th?
Right, from the bridge west to 90th, to the curve there, to the culverts. We're looking at pulverizing and paving that. Pulverize and pave 30th Avenue from where we left off, so past where Kim was talking about. 30th Avenue to the intersection.
To 20th Avenue?
No, only to 30th. 30th Avenue from between 40th and 30th.
Oh,
I don't know why he's got that.
Yeah, that's got a section that blew up.
30th
Mhm.
Avenue.
I hit it the other day.
Where is this T?
I don't think I have a front end left of it either.
Yeah,
Cool.
so what we'll be doing is 30th Avenue from here to this intersection. So from where we left off to the intersection, it's about 4,700 feet, I think. 30th Avenue, we've got, and that's about all, I think that's about all the money we're going to have. If you know of another road that needs to be really worked on though, that's what I wanna know next week then, on the 22nd. If there's another section of road that we should be, because the other part it's getting kinda bad is 50th down past Rod Cook's, that road's getting kinda crappy, but we're gonna try to patch them edges right now and then see if we can make it last for one more year. But the Haas is definitely, you know, they haul a lot of stuff out of there, so.
How many more years do they have coming out of there? Cause I thought that
15.
15.
They just got their new permits. They're expanding it, going to the north, all the way to the plant. So yeah, I think they're 10 to 15 more years. So anyway, if you can look at that, and then I'll write up the documents for bidding that, and I'd like to get that bid on at the June meeting, have the bids open. And so if we decide on what we're gonna do, then we can open them and make a decision on what we're gonna award.
One other question,
Yep.
line striping, I think we had down, at least on the hills of 40th there, that
Oh,
we
it
were
was
gonna
be
do.
the whole way.
The whole way, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna do it, so now I'm wondering if we should just wait until next year. And the reason being that cause next year I think we're gonna have to chip seal that.
And then do it.
And then the line painting is gonna be a waste of money. So I'm thinking we put off the line painting on that until the year after.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
So then we'll meet on Wednesday, the 22nd, at 8 o'clock.
Yep.
So we'll need to have that posted, Scott, for a meeting for that.
You want me to put the agenda together, or you wanna do it?
I got it,
I
but
can
I
put it-
don't have
I
enough
can-
room to put, the Wednesday, the 22nd,
Yep,
at 6
our board
o'clock is,
review.
Yeah, right
6
after.
to
6
8 is
o'clock.
board review,
6 o'clock is our board review.
and 8 o'clock is board
Following
meeting
that,
for a
we'll do the
road.
road work.
Review,
Okay.
discuss, act on bartender's license.
I received 2 applications, Joseph Hyman and Terry Musselman, both passed the background check, so I would recommend that the board approves both of those licenses.
I make a motion, we approve the bartender's licenses.
I second it.
Motion made and seconded to approve bartender's license. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Review act on email address for the town shop. So do we want a town email address for the town shop? I say yes.
Yeah,
To Lenny and Matt.
What's that?
Do Lenny and Matt want one?
Yeah, I did talk with Lenny just to kind of get his input, because I didn't want to put it on here if he wasn't gonna
Right.
if he wasn't on board with it.
He's okay?
He's okay with it. I mean, it certainly would be more efficient. So if we're getting notices for deliveries or whatnot, or different things that are going on, just to be able to send it to their email and they can deal with it.
Yep.
At that point in time. So
Yeah, give it to him.
Okay. Make a motion to.
I make a motion that we create an email address for the town shop.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to create email address for the town shop. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
We're
carried.
getting
Then a reminder to everyone, border review is the 22nd, 6 to 8. And potential items,
I know, I got them down, Dropbox. Remember?
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you have anything else.
Oh, you want
okay.
anything, you don't want me to
Well, no, that,
reiterate? It's Dropbox.
I was saying,
And then the
like the board of
community
reviewers in
surveys
the
from the Wheaton Planning
past, I
Commission.
think for the
Oh, am
last
I
10
doing
years,
one?
we haven't anybody come
And then in
in.
June, you
We
want
might
to do
even
the
be
bids.
able to sneak a little bit of this in,
That's what we got. How's
Yeah.
that?
anything else that we want to discuss?
Well, Wayne's gonna have that committee ready for the fire district. Remember? Are you gonna do that?
Yeah, I'll see what I can get
Yeah,
together,
that committee, ready?
kind of report on that, I guess.
Yeah,
I'd like to actually get that moving.
yeah. He'll have the committee members maybe by then. We'll write that down for his, fire committee. Yeah. Anything else, Wayne?
We don't have to do it next month, we can do it the month after. I think we should revisit that about over at the dump, about possibly putting up a short fence. And I'll tell you why is because, Scott just took me on a tour through his land there on his, gated. And,
I want a copy.
just showed me the trails he did and stuff. And I said, where did all this garbage come from? He said, the recycling center. He said, and I already cleaned it up, and there was quite a bit in there. And I was
Okay, well,
surprised.
look at that.
I mean, they don't have to be next month, we can do that the month after.
If you decide to do that, I have the quotes that I did a couple of years, or a year ago. I can give you the names of those people, and you can go ahead and do that. If we decide to do that, I've got those quotes
We
here.
can wait until the following month to that.
Okay, next meeting is Tuesday, June 11th, except that we will meet on, that'll be the regular board meeting, but we'll meet on the 22nd. So we can get all this final. Motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
All right.